Yo, this is Steve Bloom, and you're watching Moana Nui Podcast. We'll be starting soon. Don't go anywhere.
Aloha, everyone. Thank you for joining the Moana Nui Podcast. We're so excited to have you for this week's episodes. We have a lot of great content and great events that are coming up that we definitely want to let y'all know more about. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to my sis to kick things off with her introduction.
Hey everybody, Moana here. Glad to be back on the show. Hope you guys are having a wonderful week. My name is Moana. I'm the founder of the Moana Nui Podcast. I am also a children's book author for the Adventures of Nakoa and Nohea children's book series, and editor and publisher for the Wildcard Chronicles here at Burning Spear Comics. We are excited to have this show tonight. As you folks just met Dana, if you don't know her already, she's my partner in crime, the magician. She's like the Rock, essentially. She makes a lot of things happen for a lot of people, including our guest tonight. So I'm really excited to do this show, both this one and the one at 8:30 tonight, because we get to feature some Black creators and Black comic book conventions that are like focused on creating content for our community, and really getting to put a spotlight and give some shine to our educational institutions, the wonderful students that matriculate out of these places, and who have now developed and are creating their own events to give back to the next generation of students. So I want to welcome our friends. These folks are no stranger to our show. Cece the Geek is someone who has been on our show both on an individual perspective and on some of our panels. She is the founder of HBCU. She's also a cosplayer, an entrepreneur, philanthropist from the Washington, D.C. area. And she's been doing activist work for a lot of years, since back in 2007. And she hails from the alma mater of Bowie State University, which is right down the street from where I live. So that's awesome. And so she's been a champion for creating safe spaces for Black and other marginalized cosplayers. And as I mentioned, she's the founder and CEO of HBCU. And then our second guest is Wendell Smith, and he is our brother, wonderful, wonderful person, a Marine that you guys have probably gotten to know if you've been watching the show lately. Lots of good stories. If you haven't seen it, go back and check it out. He is also a cosplayer, an actor, and a producer, and he makes a lot of things happen for HBCU as well. I believe he is the vice president. Correct me if I'm wrong, brother.
That is correct.
And he graduated from Coppin State College, now known as Coppin State University. And he's also attended Howard University and has a master's in public history with a side certification in women's studies, which is awesome. He's a cosplayer. He makes his own, cosplay. He's a prop designer. And he's been doing this for 12, 13, 14-ish years now. So let's welcome these wonderful folks to the show. I'm excited to catch up with them.
Thank you so much. That was awesome.
Hey, yeah.
Yeah, that was really dope.
Hello, world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It feels almost like we're at the dinner table again somewhere at some con.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah. So what we eating? That's always the question.
Right, basically.
Yes.
You know what? I could really go for a poke bowl right now.
That
Oh
would
my
sound
gosh,
good.
that sounds good. And not the salad bowl, the actual poke bowl.
Yes, the actual
Some of
poke
the
bowl.
stuff they be putting, I'm like, that's the salad bowl with a fish.
Yeah,
Exactly.
That's real.
Well, definitely welcome to the show. Of course, we always kick this show off when anybody joins us on the show. We ask each of our guests to kind of give their pico or their uh, giving their origin story. Tell us a little bit about yourselves and how you both got into, since the commonality between the both of y'all, cosplay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Cece, you go first.
Yeah, I guess my
Go ahead,
story.
Cece.
I probably have the shortest cosplay. I have the shorter cosplay resume between the two of us. But yeah, I started cosplaying in 2015. Baltimore Comic-Con was actually my first con, and I kind of went totally on a whim with some friends. One of which was a veteran con goer, if you will. So she kind of went with us, and then my friend Bryant, who is a photographer, he still is, and his wife Tracy. So that was kind of how I got into it. And I went to Spirit Halloween, got a regular, rinky-dink costume for Spirit Halloween, and it was so many people, who came out and supported. So,
Yes.
and then I, came across and met Nuri and Moana at Baltimore Comic-Con. I believe
Yep.
it was the following year, 2017.
I think so, yeah.
Yep. And then I came to know Dana. I think I met you at Dragon Con. I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken. I
that's
met
the first
you
year.
at Dragon Con too.
Mhm.
Didn't I meet you at Dragon Con? They all
Mhm.
start to mesh together, especially after a certain time.
Right.
Tell me about it.
But yep, that's essentially me in a nutshell. As far as my individual story goes.
Yeah, me. I started cosplaying in 2000. Well, technically 2008, but 2009 on the con circuit. Friend of mine said in 2008 he was like, "There's this thing called a Comic-Con. I want you to go with me, and you're gonna like it." And I was like, "Okay, what are we gonna do there?" It's like, "Don't worry about it. You're gonna like it." And he was like, "Get a costume." Got a costume. It was like, "No, get a costume. We're gonna do costumes the whole weekend." I'm like, "Okay, whatever, dude." So we went to the Baltimore Comic-Con 2009, and I did Mace Windu and a custom Sith costume. And that Saturday that we walked in, as we walked in the door, we stood in the doorway for about 15 minutes because people were taking pictures of us.
Nice.
And as that being my very first experience of my very first con, I was like, okay, yeah, I kind of like this. This is kind of cool. So what is it? 13 years later now, I'm still doing the same thing. Yeah.
Yep. Hello.
Except it's more than one con. It's more than one con a year. It's more like 12 to 15.
I don't know how y'all do it. It'd be so much.
Yeah.
I mean, I know I did it one year, but that was like I was tired after that year. I was like, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's a different beast when you're vending there.
Yeah, it is.
Mm-hmm.
But still, even traveling to and from
Yeah.
like this June is going to be very busy for me.
Yes.
June is
Actually,
crazy.
June and July.
What is going on with June this year? I feel like everybody's con is in June.
Yeah, and that's exactly what it is.
It's the pandemic threw the schedules off, and when they had to reschedule for 2022,
Facts.
that
Yep.
seems to be the month the hotels was like, oh, we have something here, and then
Right.
everybody's got this chunk
Right.
all in June, and then
Mhm.
July is the other chunk, and then
Mhm.
everything else is spread out.
Exactly.
Mhm,
And that's
mhm.
exactly what it is.
Yep.
And I'm like,
So
y'all
I'm gonna have some
killing me.
mileage.
Like,
my
some of y'all
body,
better
my
fly us out.
pockets, and my truck.
Oh yeah, you're poor. Good thing you got a new truck.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, clearly we're all conditioned to the con life.
Yeah, we are.
Right.
We understand the different aspects, whether it be vending or attending as a cosplayer, being a panelist, all those kinds
Or
of
being
things.
staff.
Yeah, being staff.
Right.
So knowing all of this, and I guess being resilient enough to kind of, make it through, what has been your kind of experience so far in terms of running your own con and being like the person in charge of making all the magic happen?
That part right there, making all the
right.
magic happen.
This is like, I had no idea what's going on.
because ideas are free.
Yep.
Ideas are free, and they come and they come and they come, and it's like, wait, how do we make this actually happen?
Right.
Yeah. And it's funny because half the time it's like, okay, do you know anybody that can make this happen? No, not yet.
Right.
We got to find somebody. Help.
Right. Exactly. And I think that was really when I learned the power of, having a strong network and a strong community. Because like I did not ever fathom that I would get this far with, pretty much like little to no resources, in the sense that, I'm running a small business. This is my first time running a convention of my own making. So it was pretty much me and my web designer for a while. And we just if that was like the running joke, was we had this bomb website, we had we were still planning the convention, but at least our website was the bomb. Like people were like, yeah, website looked just as good as some of these, established cons. So that was really cool. And then of course, it's interesting because right around the time I probably met Nuri and Moana right before I got my EIN, because I got the EIN that January. So, I was really doing a lot of market research, talking to mentors like you guys, and trying to get a feel for what the scene was like. And is there like a niche and a vitality for this space? And the more and more I kind of started doing panels and stuff like that, that was when I really started to realize, okay, this is a thing. And it's kind of officially become bigger than me, and bigger than anybody, really, bigger than any one person. So then Wendell kind of like just showed up and showed out in terms of like supporting and being on panels and stuff. And at that point, our vice president was basically a filler. This guy named Warren, who's also part of my mentor circle. He's a publicist in the DMV. So he helped me get established, helped me get the EIN, articles of incorporation, and what have you. So then, Wendell just kind of showed up, and it just felt right. Something felt right. And it was like, I feel like this is the guy who's like my partner in crime and all of this. So I asked him, and I actually talked to Warren as well. I was like, hey, I think I got the guy, and I just wanted your blessing. And I talked to Wendell, and he was on board, and like the rest is history. And then of course, Dana came in the clutch, and Dana's joined our team as well. And Dana's pretty much making every con happen. Definitely every con in Atlanta and beyond. Yeah. So, and beyond. Right. She worldwide now. So I'm just blessed. I'm just so blessed to have so many amazing people and to be surrounded by so many great supporters. Like even my mom pledged to the Kickstarter. So that was really a humbling moment for me. But yeah, just in a nutshell, that's how you really, if you don't have all the money in the world and all the, resources in the world, that's really the biggest thing you could possibly have, is just a strong network of folks who will have your back and mentor you and feel, kind of coach you on the things that you don't know.
Keep you off the ledge.
Yeah. That too. Okay. Listen,
yep. Let's be real. Keep you off the ledge, because some of this stuff it's really, especially like we did a virtual con for April 2021, and that was a 7-day con, and it was all virtual, and it was nothing but panels and concert stuff, and it was hectic.
Yeah,
it was running aspects. Yeah, the technical aspect was running two different apps
platforms
at the same time. To make sure that your panelists were ready to go back to back like this.
Right.
And then coordinating with other folks so that they were ready to go when they had to go, and it was like, okay, I need to eat.
Never do
But
back to backs. As you see with cons, they always they have that cushion between for
Yeah, that was our
transitions.
lesson.
yeah,
Same with
no,
virtual.
trust me.
I wish I would have told y'all back then. If I would have known, I would be like,
Nah, the blessing was having two laptops
That too.
yeah,
and being able to go ahead and switch back and forth, have one group on getting set up, ready to go as you got the group that was going to finish up on time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And we only had 2 hiccups.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's where a lot of people, like, especially myself, who work with cons, it's like whether it's a small business or a con, a lot of people see I call it the glitz and the glamour of the having your own business. Oh, if you have your own business, you have no one to report to.
Yeah.
Having your own con, this is that, but they don't see all the grinding, the sleepless nights, the stressing out for your own business, whether it's your own comic, whatever, it's your own brand or a con, because nobody has 100% knowledge going into whatever small business or con that you have. Most of it comes from a passion, but then, as you said, you have to find that network people you surround yourself with. Like a lot of people were like, oh yeah, I'll be working on it. It's like, I had someone tell me the other day, it was like, I don't know how you and Moana do it with the podcast and everything, because we've been trying to do this streaming thing, and it's like, and I was like, I literally looked at them like, me and Moana can tell you some stories.
I know that's right. Yeah.
What's up, Mari?
I know that's right. Oh, Mari, hey girl. Ain't seen you since Ranger stopped.
Yeah.
Mari said, it's the fam.
Right. It's like just like we was last summer in Atlanta.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think that's a big key, and the biggest part is the funding, because you can make anything happen, but the biggest part of making it happen is the knowledge, but also the money aspect, which a lot of people don't realize how much it costs to run a small business, whether it's a comic or anything, but especially a con, how much money it requires just to do what I even call a basic con, how much it costs to be able to do it. And that is part of the reason of us having this conversation tonight, is the financial part, because the Moana Nui Podcast and several others are wanting to help to have the first face-to-face con. It will be hybrid, but having for HBCU con, raising money. You see in the ticker below of how you all can be able to do that. Yes, JD. Everybody wants to be a gangster until
you ain't lying, bro.
for con.
Tell it.
You ain't lying at all.
Right. Oh gosh.
People be popping off. They be popping off like, oh, I would do this. Okay, bring us the money, and you can make it happen.
Right.
And then all of a sudden you
no joke.
you hear crickets from miles away.
Right. Yep. And I think that's ultimately why we wanted to do it, was to kind of help make not just for us to have the event with little to no overhead, but just to really help make the organization sustainable and to help it last for years to come. Like I really built, even when I started this, they were like, so is this something that's gonna kind of basically they asked me is this something that's gonna die with you or is this gonna live on after? And I was like, IRS lady, I didn't expect this question from you. But okay, yes, I do want this to be something that is still around when I'm gone. So that's ultimately the key, is to just hone in on the sustainability. That's really
we basically have 107 schools to get involved with us. So we're working on the first 3 right now because they're local. So that means we have 104 left to go after we do this year. So we're going to be doing this for a while. That's
yeah.
the goal.
Yes, and that's where a lot of people don't, I always hear about people like, oh, well, this con popped up, this con and everything. But it is, coming from working with cons, the big rule of thumb, if you have your foundation, your sustainability plan planned out, if your con lasts past the seventh year of
Mm-hmm.
back-to-back cons, you
Mm-hmm.
are going to sustain yourself. But most
Mhm.
cons do not usually make it past year 5 of back-to-back cons. Of
Right.
course, some people had breaks because of the pandemic, so
Right.
your years continue after when you kick back up. But
Mhm.
it's one of those like, did you maintain even with this pandemic was a big test of that is how many cons
Very true.
weren't not able to pivot for
Right.
this because we saw how few cons still had stuff going on in 2020 and even
Mhm.
2021 because they could not pivot. And that is also a sign of being able to grow as a
Mm-hmm.
con. And the fact that HBCU Con was able to establish that early on to be able to pivot based on the climate
Right.
is a great way of also sustainability is keeping that portion in mind. Now, of course, as I mentioned earlier, with this particular con and the pandemic is still going on, a lot
Mm-hmm.
of people still have concerns because they don't feel comfortable in being around crowds.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, can y'all go into, because I'm an inside person, I'm gonna let y'all speak on it. But
Right.
how is HBCU Con pivoting and working to allow people to attend HBCU Con with the fears of the pandemic still being out there?
Absolutely. So, for one, we are requiring vaccination for all of
Mhm.
our guests. I believe the only exception will be for medical exemptions, in which case they would need, tests. And that's really more so for the students than anybody else. But we're pretty much requiring vaccines for everybody, like especially folks who are visiting campus, because it's like you're putting the students at risk.
And faculty, yeah,
So like just bring your vaccination card and we can
not
go
a
and get
fake one.
them. Mm-hmm. And also we're definitely requiring masks indoors. So that is going to be a thing. But that was something that I had thought a lot about, and I was paying a lot of attention to like how the other conventions were responding in this area and in other parts of the country. And I just felt it was necessary to like take every precaution because I think that we've all been personally affected by the pandemic on one level or another,
Mhm.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
then, Wendell, what you talk about how about for those that still don't feel comfortable being there, but they don't want to miss out on the con,
That
what
too.
options they
Well,
have to be
Mm-hmm.
able to
we
still
have
feel part of this?
one of our partners is Gamer Jive,
Mm-hmm.
and if you missed the virtual event, pretty much Gamer Jive is like it's like walking into a physical Sims application,
Mm-hmm.
except instead of going and building your own houses and neighborhoods and stuff, you're walking into a con. And it'll be set up in that manner where once you register, once you get your ticket, your virtual ticket, and you
Mm-hmm.
register, and you create you can go and you can create your avatar, make yourself look however you want, pink hair, purple hair, no hair, um, nice little black jacket, looking spiffy. You basically can go room to room and see pretty much everything, all the vendors.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we're going to try to make sure that we have all our panels showing through the Gamer Jive app.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, you'll still be able to access and see everything that we have going on, especially like the fashion show and the step show.
Mm-hmm.
But I might have spoken on those a little bit too soon. I don't know if they're ready for that yet.
Well, since you brought it up, you can't open the lid and try to and the toothpaste come out and try to put it back in after the toothpaste is
Oh
out.
my
So
gosh.
talk
I
about
know.
what all's going to be going on at HBCU Con.
Well, we do have a little thing called a step show. Step shows happen at HBCUs and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And
And give a
the
little
part
step
of
for those that
yeah
are not familiar with what a step show is that are
yeah
watching.
that's those in this instance, step shows usually performed by Black Greek letter organizations, and of which there are 9. And some people call it a dance, some people call it performance, and some people call it, hey, just sit down, shut up, and enjoy, because they're going to set it out.
Oh yeah, I love that you use that terminology.
So I'm going to kind of put it kind of in all 3, a little bit of dance, because the Kappas like to dance and shimmy. A lot of step, because the Qs like to bring that thunder and lightning. The Alphas bringing that cold and push it back out.
Ice cold, yep.
Them Sigmas, them brothers.
Look, I had to drop my book.
They give you a little bit of it all, because some do the cane thing. They all do the step thing. And they all do a little bit of dance too. So I mean, the fellas are gonna bring it.
Okay.
So here's my question:
and the ladies,
will you be stepping?
Huh?
What'd you say?
I said, will you be stepping?
Oh, me?
Oh, Wendell.
Nah. I'm not in the fraternity, so I will not be stepping.
Now, to be fair,
he would be in spirit. He'd be like, "Hey, hey," while he's sitting there going,
right.
I'll be doing like I did in my first step show that I went to when I got back from Japan years ago. Yeah, do that. Oh, snap.
Right.
And then get in trouble with one of the other frats because I'm doing things that they do.
That is so. Oh my gosh, Lord have mercy. Well, we're glad you didn't get in trouble.
No, you have to know the right people too.
That too.
Me knowing at least a couple of the right people kept me from getting myself in trouble, because they were like, "Nah, he's good."
Wow. But yes, we're very excited.
Dog next door disagreed with me.
What'd you say?
The dog next door disagreed with me. As soon as I say he's good,
he spoke on behalf of the Qs, you know.
Yes, he did. Max Farr.
Yes. We're so
now,
excited.
of course, you mentioned those ones, but you know, I know those are the guy fraternities.
Yeah, because
will there be any of the lady sororities stepping it out and giving some for the fellas? You know,
of course. Well, the first organization to even say yes to us was my beloved sorority, Zeta Delta chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. So I'm not in there. I just know it's a diamond. So I was making my diamond. She did it the correct way. I was just like, well, you know, it's funny because it's actually evolved over time. Like it started like this, and then it kind of evolved. Like my aunt does it like this. And then we kind of got more tight, you know, over the years. So that's but yeah, so we'll be there. We are we're currently in communication with the Zetas and Sigma. So Zeta Phi Beta sorority and Sigma Gamma Rho. So we're just waiting on the confirmations from them. And
come on, ladies, let's give the guys some work.
Yes, I really want to get the AKAs in too, Alpha Kappa Alpha, but they changed their rules up a little bit, so
I'm gonna talk to your people.
Yeah, I'm trying to pull some strings, man.
My mom's the AK, so I'm like, call her people.
Like calling a favor for Penn Hill, you know. Exactly.
So so we got into the step show. What else can people be looking out for attending HBCU Con to enjoy while they're there?
Well, we are doing panels. Oh, yeah.
And Bad Waifu. We got Bad Waifu.
Yeah, we do have
fashion.
We do have that.
Said that Nia artwork pops.
It does.
Yes.
And JD, the artist that did it's actually on our staff too.
Yes, he is.
It's actually it's actually I think he said it's his sister.
Okay.
Yeah, it's his sister who was drawing it, and then he did like the coloring. Brian is the guy who I went to my first con with, and he actually designed our logo. He went to Bowie as well, and he designed our logo, a lot of our assets and graphics that we utilize So yeah, big shout out to him. And
Yeah.
Nia was actually made in honor of my sister Tatiana Lawson,
There you go.
who also attended Bowie State University. And of course, Nia is the Swahili word for purpose. So
Yes.
yeah.
Okay, so
Nia's
I
popping,
was hearing
But
Cece
yeah, I'm sorry,
mention
back to the fashion show.
that. I said, yeah, she was talking about the fashion show. So tell us.
Yeah, well, she kind of dropped one name, Bad Waifu,
And
Bad
Wu,
Waifu,
that's your
okay.
girl.
and some folks may know, her products and everything because she's been killing it.
Yeah, she
I came across her on the Humble because friends were buying her stuff. I'm like, yo, that looks kind of tight. Where'd you get it? And they were like,
Yeah.
Bad Waifu. I'm like, what's a bad waifu? Like, don't worry about it. She doesn't make stuff for guys. Not yet anyway.
Not yet.
So I was like, okay. It
I
still
know
looks
that's right.
tight. And yeah, it looks good. So we've got Bad Waifu.
Yeah.
And then a friend of mine who's actually going to be doing a show this weekend at New York Fashion Week, and will fashion.
Mm-hmm.
She's coming down from Philly to show her wares.
Mm-hmm.
And then keeping with the original idea for our fashion shows, we're actually having the students of Bowie and their costuming and fashion design classes do the latter half of the show. So we're going to have, I think from our discussion earlier today, we're going to have about 4, maybe 5 students actually putting designs out for the show.
Right.
Okay.
And then if I'm feeling froggy like I usually wind up doing anyway, I might wind up putting out a couple of myself. I don't stop making stuff. So so the fashion show is going to be something to look out for.
Okay.
And it's going to be big because we've got some stuff planned. It's going to be beautiful.
Okay.
That's all I can say.
Yeah.
And go ahead.
What were you gonna say, Dana?
I was going to ask y'all about. We keep hearing about y'all having something about a yard. Can you tell the audience about the yard?
So yes, we are looking into having a yard fest. That is gonna be heavily. Well, we're looking into it basically, and our Kickstarter is kind of essentially gonna help expound on that. So we really want to get the Yard Fest outside. We are lining up some special performances. It'll just be a matter of whether they're indoors or if we can have an actual Yard Fest. But in addition to the fashion show and the step show, we are having a gaming lounge. And it's going to be sponsored by MagFest with a gaming tournament. So that'll be really cool. And then we're also going to have a screening room where you can watch some anime and other, independent films. And I think that's pretty much, the gist of it all. And you have, of course, like our panels. We're going to have a different world, HBCU geeks. She saves the day.
Gaming.
Yes.
Gaming.
Yes. We got behind the controller panel. So we'll have Tasha and Hook come through and do their thing. And maybe some other folks from the gaming world who will talk about how they actually make video games. So, and Bowie actually recently got a gaming program, and several others did as well. Fayetteville State.
Morgan.
Did they?
Yeah, Morgan has a gaming program.
Nice. That's news to me. But yeah, that's pretty much the gist.
Having a kid at that school helps.
True.
Yeah. I was like, because he just told me. I asked him, he was like, yeah, I think they do. I think they have an esports program going. I was like, oh, word?
Nice.
He's like, yeah. He's like, yeah, I might actually go find out a little bit more about it because he's a gamer. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So really excited. I know we were talking on the podcast with Danny and Morgan and them about possibly doing a mini spades tournament. So
yeah, that right
we need
there.
to make sure security is involved because
we need a referee, like something.
Tables bolted to the ground because no table flipping.
we don't need nobody flipping tables. Yes.
Yeah, you flip a table, you disqualified.
Right. You got to take your butt whooping like a man or a woman.
Right.
Hey,
or non, you know,
or non, yeah, or yes,
non-conforming,
or non-binary.
Yes.
Yes. Just go ahead and take that whooping and
Yes,
just
indeed.
go with it.
And we will not have any salve or lotion for you. You gotta take it on your own.
Oh man, no shea butter. You gotta go down.
No shea butter. Yeah, you gotta have your own.
They might have.
We
shea
only
butter
hand them out.
They might have shea butter at the bookstore.
We only hand them out. We don't help you. We don't help you ease the pain.
Okay. Now, one of the biggest. And I know one of the biggest things that we're definitely talking about is the Kickstarter you have going on. Let me go ahead and I'm going to share my screen so everybody can see the Kickstarter that you have going on. Definitely tell the audience as far as what they can find on the Kickstarter, what all that you can enjoy with the Kickstarter that y'all have going on.
Why, thank you. I guess, well, for one, you can get passes to the event through Kickstarter. We have tiers for virtual passes. We also have tiers for physical and once you get, you know, to the physical passes, you'll get the virtual passes included with that. What else? And some of them offer multiple. I believe the highest tier offers 6 badges. And then we also have t-shirts, we got lanyards, we got stickers, we have custom artwork from Bryant and his sister, and also our graphic designer Samuel, I believe, is working on a piece, SF Design. So it'll be really cool, like just a lot of really dope stuff.
Right. And Ryan, we have 11 days left.
11 days, yes.
11 days.
And they still have, as far as they're at, their goal is $15,000. They're less than $6,000 from goals. So they still need additional backers to help make that goal and all. So here is showing some of the stuff that's on there. Of course, here's they save the date. Events April 29th through May 1st. Some of the stuff that both Wendell and Cece was talking about that you get to enjoy of the panels and workshops, the D9 Greek Geek Step Show.
Yeah.
Of course, this has kind of been a constant thing that people have asked about because of the HBCU centered for the theme. Myself as one, I didn't go to HBCU. Can I attend, or I just went to a regular college? So am I allowed to attend?
Of course you can attend. If you didn't go to no college, you can attend.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. That was why I built it. You know, this community was because I felt it was important for, you know, for not only HBCU students and alum to come together and connect, because the crazy thing about it is, you know, the HBCUs really don't talk to each other as much people think that they might do. So that was one aspect of it, but then also just connecting folks outside of the HBCU world, you know, Black geeks of color, Indigenous folks who were like, you know, just always wanted a taste of the experience, and we can come together and connect in really beautiful ways. And I was just having this conversation yesterday with HBCU Anime, who is recently joined our team as well. And he was saying that the reason why he started HBCU Anime was because he came across a lot of Black anime fans who didn't know what a HBCU was. And we kind of came to this agreement that, particularly for Black nerds, in order for yourself to be seen as like an authentic nerd, there's this unspoken contract that says that you have to distance yourself from other aspects of Black culture because it's not considered nerdy. And I just didn't believe in that. I grew up in a world where those two things weren't mutually exclusive, and in fact were very much intertwined. So that was something that I wanted to just build on and celebrate. And, you know, like Moana said, it's like, hey, you got HBCUs right down the street. So now it's like you have every reason to come and connect and meet the people. And now when you do visit the campus, it'll feel more like home.
That, and for those young ones that happen to come through, like my youngest is 13. They haven't been to a college at all. So I mean, if they come through and they get a vibe, some of the vibe of the experience, of an HBCU through HBCU Con, they can make, when it's time for them to matriculate on, they can go ahead and say, you know what, yeah, let me go ahead on to Coppin State. I'm not going to say Bowie because I went to Coppin, so I'm going to plug Coppin.
It's okay.
So yeah, I'm gonna be like, yeah, y'all can go to Coppin State or down into DC to the HU.
Yeah, we both went to Howard. We can come together on Howard.
Yeah. or you can go to Morgan and and chill on the other side of Baltimore.
Yeah.
Or you can go to Bowie because Bowie is kind of close to home.
Right. Or you can go to
Bowie's
FAM.
not bad. Or you can go to FAM.
Or you could go to Jackson State and see Deion Sanders and his football team play.
Exactly.
Or if you're
my backyard, more Spelman and Morehouse.
Right. I mean,
and Clark Atlanta.
Right. And even though they're not,
and
even though they're not the real HU, even though they think they
are,
don't be rude. You can even go to Hampton University because I know many good people from Hampton. It's a good school.
Venture Bros.
It's a very good school.
Right now.
I mean, he'll be all right.
The statements that were stated is not statements on behalf of the Moana Nui Podcast.
Look, they already in military wars because Marine and he in the Air Force. So
yeah.
Oh yeah. I can see
right.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah.
It sounds like we need to have him on the veterans panel. Is what I'm saying.
Yes, you should. He's real cool peoples, and he'll be coming through to the convention as well. Shout out to him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we need y'all to connect so we can get them and we can get that next veterans panel going so we can have that conversation going.
Look, you say no more. I'm putting them right now.
Okay. And as we're talking, I'm kind of scrolling through the Kickstarter so people can see some of the rewards y'all have out there and things that y'all have. So you can see that you have the option of tiers that have the virtual pass. So if you don't feel comfortable being in person, that you don't miss out, you can enjoy all the content. You saw the images of the virtual platform, so make you have the feeling that you're there in the avatar, with your avatar making you, if you love Sims, you've got your Sims character basically, without the mods. And then of course, as you're seeing, there are packages that have the in-person pass, so you can go in person, plus get these exclusive rewards. These rewards that you're seeing on here, you will not be able to get these outside the Kickstarter. This is just for Kickstarter. There will be different items for sale through HBCU Con for the event. But this is exclusive. If you've ever did a Kickstarter before, anybody you bought Kickstarter, whether indie comics or anything like that, they have stuff only you can get through the Kickstarter. You cannot get it outside the Kickstarter. So if you're like, ooh, I'm loving that shirt, you better go ahead and pledge. That money won't be taken from you until after the 21st when the Kickstarter.
The 22nd, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So the Kickstarter ends on February 21st at midnight. And on the morning of the 22nd is when Kickstarter will say, "Hey, we're going to charge your card."
Yep. And I just want to give a huge shout out to you, Dana, for your help and groundwork and building this out, because I don't think a lot of people who, if you haven't run a Kickstarter before, this is its own heavy lift.
This is a full-time job.
Yep. It's like this, the convention, and then there's this, it's its own beast. So I really just want to give a shout out to you and to all the folks on our team. Even Moana, I watched you. We used the Adventures of Nicole and Nohea. Look at how successful this Kickstarter was. We need to be like them. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So,
this is one of the key things about Kickstarter, because I've supported 41 of them now.
I know that's right.
They're safe. You don't have to worry about your credit card information going anywhere. They're very safe, and they only show that information to you. The person who you're supporting does not see your information.
Exactly.
It's between.
It's just like you using eBay.
Right.
Yep.
Right. It's between you and Kickstarter.
Right.
So
That's good, Mr. Robinson.
you don't have to worry about that, and you don't have to have the money the day that you pledge. You just have to have it on the 22nd.
Yeah.
So if you're getting paid on the 21st, you're good to go.
Yeah.
Gucci.
And I will let you know if you pledge, and let's say on the 22nd, that card says, oopsie.
They will let you
do
know.
Have Kickstarter does give a cushion. You have up to 7 days after the Kickstarter is complete to make sure that funds is in there. If not, you will miss out on whatever you pledge on that. So you don't want to do that. So if it messes up, or you had an old card in there and it expired, it will send you an email saying, hey, update your credit card information. Your payment did not go through. It lets you know you have 7 days to complete that, so you don't miss out on that. So you definitely want to make sure. They do have the bigger packages, as they were saying, that if you are trying to get it for you and someone else to be able to participate, like you're seeing here for the quad, you're getting the shirts, the sticker, the lanyard, the in-person pass. You get the virtual pass, and your choice of the art print exclusively for HBCU Con 22. So there's a lot of different packages that you can choose from. The bigger package is going to have more that you can be able to share with a loved one. Or it could be that friend that, will determine your level of friendship by getting that for them. Show your love to your family member or your friend by getting that package for them.
I know that's right.
And that as a I guess this is additional information that 1837 actually holds a special place because the year 1837 is when the first HBCU was founded.
Yep.
And then if you were to go back down to the 107, that's exactly how many HBCUs are in existence.
Yep.
So we established those tiers for those special reasons.
Most def.
So all the numbers have significant reasons, but definitely if you're like, I don't have much to give, don't worry. You can still give. You can get the pledge level of, if you're like, I only got a few dollars, you can do Notice Me Senpai's sophomore. For $10 or more, you will get the previous award and your name in the event guide as a thank you for helping to support. You can even do the Force Sensitive Freshman as a thank you message for that $5. But there's so many options that you have within your budget. So as they said, you pledge now. It doesn't come out your account instantly. It doesn't come out until the 22nd. So please pledge, but also share the information on your social media to your friends and loved ones, because that is the most priceless thing anyone can do for any small business, indie creator, or a con, is spread the word to others so they can come and support, because that means more than anything, because the more people that get their eyes on it, the more that pledge, the more successful a project can be, whether it's a book, a comic book, or a con.
I know that's right. Yeah, definitely.
And now I'm going to come off the pulpit.
No, I love it. I'm so here for it. It's nice this is the vitality and the importance of having a really good team. And it's something that I'm still getting used to. And I'm like, I can sit back and shut up, and let my team do the talking. So it's really cool.
That's one of the things I told you from jump that
you did.
I want for you to happen for you. So hey, sit back and enjoy it.
I appreciate that. I really do. It feels good.
Yeah. And thank you, Ryan. Thank you for that.
Yay. You draw while you paint.
And the key thing to this is yes, the money will help go towards the con, but it really helps us towards future cons.
Right.
It helps us
All
towards
the
2023.
operations. Yep.
So that's where this really really will hit home. Is
Oh,
where
yeah.
we go when we start planning for 2023, and we say, okay, we have a foundation to build that consistency.
Mhm.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And that's a major thing because as far as Wendell and Cece, they know since I've been aboard, that is one thing I definitely been stressing because we have seen so many as far as people that have been in the con scene, seen cons come and go.
And go.
Yes.
That's why you hear the IRS said what they said to Cece, like, are you planning to stay for a minute
Right.
with this idea? Because they
Right.
have probably seen so many cons. It was like, oh, okay, here's just EIN. Oh, grand opening, grand closing. All right.
Right.
But it's so funny that you mentioned that because, like, even I think that was kind of a come into a Jesus moment, if you want to put it in those words. But every person who I've like talked to about this along the way, from like the woman on the phone at the IRS, who I'm probably never going to speak to again, to the woman who I spoke to today for the room block on our hotels. Every time I'm telling them like the name and not even really giving them much about it, I'm like, oh yeah, HBCU. Because once I'm like going through the spelling with them, then I'm like historically Black college convention, and then I'm like, oh, and it's gonna be at my alma mater. They're like, this sounds really cool. They know nothing about it, know nothing about con life, know nothing about any of that stuff. And they're like, this sounds like a really cool event. I'm looking forward to working with you.
Yes.
And that's just one of the most dope things about it. Yeah.
That's that feel good.
Enthusiastic. Yeah.
Right. That's that feel good making that it helps when people say the supportive things because they see your vision.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Even if it's for a limited moment, they still see your vision. It's like, okay, I'm doing something right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, because it's something that's really needed for the community and not,
Yeah.
It's easy to talk about, like we said earlier, like ideas are free, right? Lots of people have ideas, but actually taking action and organizing and really thinking things through to bring it to fruition, that's not that just anyone is willing to put the time and energy into.
Right, because it's work.
Yes.
It's work.
Yes.
And
that'll work.
Yeah, it
exactly.
is. And not everybody has the opportunity to do that too. Like I'm just so fortunate that I have a family that is able to support me and really just help me out, and just like all little things that all my parents have done and extended relatives have done. It's just been such a blessing. And everything, like even from the folks on our team, some of whom I've known my entire adult life. And some I've known even longer than that. It's just crazy to think about how like every moment in my life has led to this point, and and every person who I've met has served like some divine purpose in seeing this thing to fruition. So I'm just so humbled and so grateful to the three of you and to all of our supporters, to our staff, and shout out to Nuri. I know he's busy doing stuff.
Nuri's always busy. That brother stays busy.
I know, bless his heart. Lord have mercy. And Moana's over there, sewing things and writing things and publishing things, and then and Nuri's over there writing things and building his his models and stuff.
Yes.
And Dana, again, thank you. And Wendell, you already know you my right hand. So just shout out to all the staff, like all of our volunteers. Professor Tio at Bowie, just man, I can't even, like, if I went down the list, we'd be here for another hour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the biggest part
that we're
is
working with soon.
Exactly. And the biggest part is definitely if you are a business and you want to be in front of the crowd of the people that will be there, whether virtually or in person, definitely visit HBCU Con's website. You can register to be a vendor. If you're interested, or you have someone like a Karen Ashley that's interested in being a guest, the guest application is also out there. Also, are you looking to help with the con and you want to volunteer? Volunteer applications is there too. And I'm going to go ahead and let y'all give that website for those that want to do either one, or if you want to be a sponsor, it is also sponsorship is on the website also.
It
So
certainly is.
both
the
we have small
website
business
URL,
sponsorships and corporate sponsorships.
yes,
Yes,
and the
ma'am.
website URL is www.hbcucon.org.
Yeah. What's up, nerdy? I got excited. I was trying not to cut you off.
Nah, you're fine. I saw him too.
Yep. And you
yes.
click on participate, and that's where all the applications be at.
Yeah.
Right. And then if you're not going to participate, you can click on register, and you can come on and see us at the con, virtually or in person.
Yeah.
In person is more fun because, as you can see, we're kind of silly.
Yeah,
we are very much so.
And until con, you know how much fun it is. So whether you are a fellow creator, you can get into Artist Alley applications. There are vendor applications are there, sponsorships, or if you're looking to be a volunteer, all of that is right on the website. So definitely go to hbcucon.org. Give your support, because especially you're like, hey, I love my business to be there and have people attend. Get one of those sponsorship packets. You get some passes. You get your name out there. You get your booth. Go ahead, pick the package that's within your budget.
I know that's right.
Mm-hmm.
Girl, you could sell salt to a slug. Okay?
and I know Moana's put some things in the chat for CC, and y'all, the two of them already know I mentioned this before, so hopefully we can make that happen in this last stretch. I'm not going to say it on the air, but there is something that both me and Moana want y'all to put on the Kickstarter. Y'all could do that, and
okay, we can make it happen. You know,
we'll talk offline.
Okay.
But as we're getting to the as we're getting to the top of the hour, any last words you would like to say to the audience and everything before we get ready to end this particular episode?
I was going to say, well, my contact info is on the is on my name tag there, but if you do happen to make it to Bowie State, to the show, April 29th, 30th, and 1st, May 1st, make sure you bring some banana pudding, because the brother loves to eat banana pudding.
Okay.
And it got to be the authentic banana pudding.
It's got to be authentic, yes.
Yeah.
And it's got to actually have bananas in it.
Yes, and vanilla wafers.
Vanilla wafers.
Because some folks they don't have either in it.
Or you can bring some oatmeal raisin cookies.
Wow.
And some ginger ale, and we can sit during the fashion show, and I can go ahead and break everything down, please, definitely cold.
Yes, because some people do hot banana pudding.
Yeah,
some people do hot banana pudding.
Yeah, well, my great aunt used to do, man.
That's I do want to give a shout out to Cerise Murphy, who I know you guys are having on the show also.
Yes, our 8:30 guest. Yes,
I know we're all big fans here. Like, we're all the Cerise Murphy fan club here.
I've got all books.
Yep, and just want to shout out and congratulate her on another great show, because I know it's going to be a great show. Last year was a great show. And, just definitely want to thank you guys again for having us on the podcast. Like, I've probably lost count how many times, especially between me and Wendell. But just all for your outpouring of support.
Yeah.
And
we appreciate it.
Yeah, we really do. It means the
world. It helps bring back the calm, for real.
It does. And then it's like, it's just nice to be in fellowship with good people and people who've been there for you since day one. Like, it really feels like a family reunion, and it kind of, like, my heart is full, and I feel like a weight is kind of lifted off my shoulders, knowing that I have people like you in my corner. So, that's pretty much it. You can follow us, of course, at HBCUcon on Facebook and Instagram, Twitter at ConHBCU. And but also you can check out our link tree on Instagram and such. The website is www.hbcucon.org. If you want to follow me personally, it's CC the Geek on all platforms except for Twitter, which is CC the Greek Geek. And that's pretty much it.
And there you have it, folks.
Awesome. Perfect. Thank you both for being a part of the show. Everyone, once again, you have go ahead and pledge tonight. Go to the Kickstarter. If you're not going to remember the link, go to kickstarter.com or on the app. Search HBCUcon. It's the only one that will come up. Yep. H as in Henry, B as in Bravo, C as in Charlie, U as in Unit, C as in Charlie, O as in Oscar, N as in November. Yes. Search. It will pop right on up and pledge.
I know that's right. Come on now.
So we thank all of you for tuning in. Please definitely tune back in at 8:30 p.m. Eastern in about 30 minutes for our next guest. We're looking for you to hear about this phenomenal woman and all that she's doing and what she has coming up this weekend that you can be a part of. So once again, thank you, everyone. And as Mari says right there, pledge. Thank you, everyone. We'll see you all in 30 minutes. Have a good evening. Bye, everyone.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
So many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can't keep history on the shelf. If they won't tell it, we will. If this the land of the free, it was a freedom then. When they annexed Hawaii and called it cedar lands, without any type of payment and no signing off. Called themselves a republic in 1894. 1.2 million acres overtaken from the native Hawaiians. When they resisted, the West retaliated in violence and erasure. The Hawaiian language is banned as part of colonialism's plan to expand, Stuck between a rock and a hard place. Multiple bombings of Kaho'olawe as a part of their ongoing war with Asia. Used it as a place for target practice. No consent or compensation. Colonizers call for annexation. No regard for all the locals. School will never let you know. So many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can't keep history on the shelf. If we won't tell it, we will. Too many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can't keep history on the shelf. If we won't tell it, we will. We will. So if you put Hawaii in a perspective, well, Black and Asian history is interconnected. Considering the fight with the Pacific, then of course, versus Asia, they was treated as a middleman for war, but didn't let the Western colorism run its course, cause dark skin was a sign of dignity to core. The land was taken in the name of capitalism, when prior to it was an actual kingdom. Clap back at the system. Stuck between a rock and a hard place. Multiple bombings of Kaho'olawe as a part of their ongoing war with Asia. Used it as a place for target practice. No consent or compensation. Colonizers call for annexation. No regard for all the locals. School will never let you know. So many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can't keep history on the shelf. If they won't tell it, we will. Too many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can't keep history on the shelf. If they won't tell it, we will. So many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can't keep history on the shelf. If they won't tell it, we will. Too many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can't keep history on the shelf. If they won't tell it, we will. We will.
I'm Steve Bloom. I've been a voice actor for more than 30 years, playing characters like Wolverine, Starscream, Tank Temps from Call of Duty.
With Bloomfox Studios, I've learned so much about myself.
Learning to breathe, to no fear, to getting ugly in front of the mic.
One of the biggest changes I've noticed, at least for me, is how much my confidence level has gone up.
Done an Eastern European video game, an e-commerce commercial, a documentary. If you're thinking about getting into voiceover, Just do it. Jump in.